If you take a look around right now as we're sort of kicking off 2026, there's this really painful paradox at the heart of how we live.
Mm.
We're more connected than any humans in history, digitally, all intertwined. And yet, somehow, we feel profoundly isolated from our inner selves.
It's a huge disconnect, and it's not just a philosophical idea anymore, is it? It's a felt reality for millions of people.
Exactly. This isn't just a mood. All the digital noise, the sheer volume of information we're processing, the social comparison, it's all kind of merged into what experts are now calling a global anxiety crisis.
A low-grade panic all the time.
Yeah, that constant, exhausting hum of anxiety in the background. We have all this technology to connect us, but we can't seem to connect with our own sense of peace.
Right. We've optimized everything external to us, logistics, deliveries, you name it, but the internal architecture, the part of us that's supposed to feel centered and present, has been completely neglected. We keep throwing external solutions at a deeply internal problem.
And that's the trap, isn't it? The quick fixes. Whether it's a new app or a prescription, so often they're just addressing the symptom, not the actual root cause.
Just patching the cracks.
So we went looking for something deeper, something with a real track record. And our entire exploration today, this whole deep dive into fusing, ancient spiritual insight with modern neuroscience, it's grounded in the really comprehensive work from one particular source.
Yes, all of this comes from the content on the Haitham Soul channel.
It's just a fantastic resource. So our mission today for you is to pull out these powerful, genuinely timeless tools from the Sufi tradition, which is the mystical heart of Islam, and see how they line up with what brain science is telling us right now.
We're looking for a kind of shortcut to mental liberation, something that goes beyond just managing the symptoms day to day.
Okay, so let's start with the diagnosis. Why? Why have we fundamentally lost our peace? If we look at this through a scientific lens first, what's actually happening to us physically?
Well, scientifically, the core issue is chronic hyperarousal. Your body is basically stuck in a state of permanent, low-grade emergency.
And that's driven by a specific part of the brain.
It is. Think of your amygdala. It's the brain's ancient fear center. Its job is incredibly important to trigger that fight-or-flight response when you're facing a real physical danger.
Like a predator in the wild.
Exactly. But in 2026, that system is being hijacked. It's being triggered constantly.
Not by lions and tigers, but
by digital notifications. Every ping, every email alert, every breaking news headline, your primitive brain interprets that as a small but very real threat that needs your immediate attention.
Wow.
And that leads to something called allostatic load. It's the cumulative wear and tear on the body from adapting to chronic stress. It's like your biological system is running a marathon that never, ever ends.
That explains the exhaustion, that feeling of being wired and tired. Your body's always ready to run, even when you're just sitting at your desk.
Yeah, precisely. Now, what's fascinating is how the Sufi tradition diagnosed this exact same state, just with different language.
Okay, so what's their term for it?
They call it fragmentation, or shata. Such a powerful word. The idea is that the soul becomes scattered. It's not living in the present reality.
Where does it live?
It's either fixated on a past that's already gone, which, creates regret and shame, or it's frantically trying to predict a future that hasn't happened yet, which is the very definition of anxiety.
And our digital world just feeds that fragmentation, doesn't it? The algorithms are designed to show us curated memories of our past and then terrify us with news about the future.
It's the perfect storm for keeping us off-center. And the Sufi masters understood that you can't fight the past or the future because they aren't real. They're just constructs of the mind.
So you can't win that fight.
You can't. The only way back to stability, they say, is not by numbing the pain, but by guiding yourself back to the fundamental now, the present moment.
Which sounds so simple, but feels almost impossible to access when your amygdala is screaming that there's danger everywhere.
It is the ultimate challenge. But that center point, the present moment, is where fear dissolves. Because in the actual physical present, the threat is almost never there. And that's where they believe divine presence resides. So getting back to the physicacy, now that's the starting point for rewiring everything.
Okay, so if the brain's alarm system is stuck in the on position, we need a powerful tool to manually switch it off. This brings us to the core Sufi practice.
Dhikr.
Remembrance, yes. And the sources from Haitham Soul describe it not just as, chanting or repetition, but as a sophisticated vibrational technology. I love that phrase.
It captures the mechanism perfectly because the effects are physical, they are biological, you can literally measure them.
How so? What's happening inside the body and the brain when someone is practicing this?
Well, when a person engages in this kind of focused remembrance with a specific deep cadence, they are essentially forcing the brain to change its operating frequency.
Okay, let's break that down. Brainwave frequencies.
In our normal, stressed out, modern state, most of us are operating in high-frequency beta waves.
That's our get things done mode.
Right. Alertness, problem solving, but also stress and anxiety. What Dhikr does, especially with that rhythm, is it guides the brain down into slower, calmer frequencies. First to alpha.
And alpha is what? A more relaxed state?
It's a state of calm, focused attention. You might feel it when you're in a flow state. It quiets all that mental chatter. But then if you go deeper, you can descend into theta waves.
And theta is where the real magic happens.
That's where you find deep meditation, profound healing, effortless creativity. You are literally creating the neurological space for your mind to rest and repair itself.
So the rhythm isn't just to be soothing, it's actively pushing the brain out of its stress patterns.
It is, and the chemical shift is just as dramatic. Studies have shown that these kinds of repetitive, sacred sounds can cause an immediate, measurable drop in your main stress hormones.
You mean cortisol and adrenaline?
Cortisol and adrenaline, exactly. It's like the sound frequency becomes a physiological shield. You're interrupting the whole hormonal feedback loop that keeps you trapped in anxiety. You're literally protecting your heart and your immune system from that chronic assault.
That's incredible. It's so practical.
Yeah.
But there's another biological connection that was even more direct, wasn't there? Something about the vagus nerve.
Yes, and this is where the spiritual and the biological just overlap perfectly. The vagus nerve is this huge superhighway connecting your brain to all your major organs. It's the primary regulator of your stress response.
Okay.
And the deep rhythmic resonance from vocalizing Dhikr acts like a kind of internal massage for this nerve.
An internal massage. How does that create a sense of peace?
Think about it. When mammals are calm and feel safe, their breathing is slow and deep. There are often these soft, resonant sounds like purring. That low-frequency vibration is a biological signal for safety.
So you're creating that signal intentionally.
You're essentially hacking your own nervous system.
Yeah.
You're sending a direct, undeniable signal to your brain that the danger has passed. It flips the switch from the fight or flight system to the parasympathetic system,
What is the...
the rest and digest mode. It is a completely engineered biological way to de-escalate your own stress.
It's an ancient self-regulating system that we're only now validating with modern science. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But often, even before sound and vibration, the quickest way to change your state is just your breath.
Absolutely.
So let's transition to that second key practice, Sufi breathwork. It's often called the breath of presence.
And the link between breath and anxiety is so direct. When you're anxious, your breathing immediately becomes shallow, rapid, up in the chest.
Right.
That kind of breathing physically locks you into the stress response. So the Sufi technique forces you to do the complete opposite. It's about using the full capacity of your lungs, your diaphragm, to intentionally move stagnant energy.
So it's not just breathing. It's an active process of managing your internal energy.
It absolutely is. And this whole process is built on a core Sufi concept they call emptying and filling, Tekliya and Talita.
Okay, two-part process. Let's start with the emptying, Tekliya. What's that?
Tekliya is the cleanse. It's using a long, deep, sustained exhale to consciously release all that emotional and energetic tightness. When you're anxious, your chest and diaphragm are literally clenched, holding the worry in.
I think we can all relate to that feeling.
So the practice is to consciously push all the air out, fully empty the lungs, and as you do it, you visualize yourself just cleansing out all those fragmented thoughts, all that anxious energy about the past and the future.
It's a deliberate act of letting go.
A very deliberate deconstruction of the anxious state.
And then, once you've created that space through the emptying, then comes the second part, the filling, Taliya.
Exactly. Taliya is the conscious, mindful act of filling that newly created space with sakina, which means divine tranquility or a deep, abiding peace. You take a slow, deep breath in, right down into your belly, using your diaphragm, and you're not just inhaling air, you're inhaling calm. You're inhaling presence. You're using the physical anchor of your breath to systematically replace the fragmentation with wholeness.
That brings up a really important practical question for anyone listening to this, living at the speed of modern life. These techniques sound profound, but do they require a retreat from the world? Do we have to give up our fast-paced lives to find this kind of peace?
That's the biggest misconception, and it's what stops so many people. And the Sufis had the perfect answer for this centuries ago. They didn't preach isolation, they demanded integration.
Meaning what, exactly?
Meaning that real peace isn't tested in a quiet cave on a mountaintop. It's tested in the chaos of the marketplace. And their secret for this, the key to navigating modern life, is a concept called solitude in the crowd. Khalwa dar anjuman.
Solitude in the crowd. I mean, that feels incredibly relevant for right now. How to maintain that internal centered solitude, even when you're swimming in the noise of the digital world.
It's not just relevant, I'd say it's non-negotiable for 2026. The peace has to be built within the chaos, not as an escape from it.
So you carry it with you.
You build a personal, internal, sacred space that is portable. It goes with you.
Yeah.
Whether you're stuck in traffic, in a high-pressure meeting, in your office cubicle, your internal state remains sovereign. It stays independent of what's happening outside.
So how do we do that? How do we apply this vibrational technology of DR and the breathwork without needing, hours a day that most of us just don't have?
And this is where the material is so accessible. The requirement isn't hours. It's the dedication of just 10 minutes a day.
10 minutes.
10 minutes a day dedicated to these specific breathwork and remembrance practices. And that 10 minutes, it's not a luxury. It's an energetic necessity. It's just enough time to reset your baseline, lower your cortisol, and build up an internal defense mechanism.
An energetic shield.
Yeah.
What does that look like in practice?
It looks like creating a shield against what they call the psychic contagion of negative environments. Think about it. If you walk into a stressful meeting or open a toxic social media feed with an already fragmented, unanchored internal state, you just absorb all of it.
Like a sponge.
Exactly like a sponge. But if you spent those 10 minutes centering yourself, you become more of a filter. You can engage with the world, but you don't absorb its toxicity. You maintain your Khalwa dar anjuman.
So it could be as simple as, what, silently using a phrase of remembrance while you're on a crowded train.
Or taking 3 of those deep, emptying breaths before you hit reply on that stressful email. It's about integrating these tiny moments of presence into the fabric of your day.
It's about turning ourselves from sponges into filters. So let's try to bring this all together. What does this mean for us right now, trying to navigate this world? The sources we've been diving into today, all from the Haitham Soul channel, they give us a really powerful conclusion.
I think they do. They show us that anxiety. It isn't some permanent, fixed destiny. It's not just an inescapable flaw of being human in this century. It's actually a signal.
A signal for what?
It's a loud, urgent call, pulling the soul back to its source, back to the clarity and the reality of the now. And this fusion of ancient practices, Dhikr, as vibrational tech, breathwork as a physical anchor, with our modern neurological understanding, it gives us a real, accessible blueprint.
A blueprint for returning to clarity.
Yes, you don't need a new gadget or another app. You already have the tools built into you.
And that clarity is just invaluable. Thank you. This has been a really profound walkthrough of the material.
My pleasure.
For you, our listeners, as you start to integrate these ideas of, vibrational technology and solitude in the crowd, I want to leave you with a final thought to chew on. If your internal landscape is the only piece of property that is ever truly, securely yours, what practical action, built on just 10 minutes of daily internal solitude, could fundamentally shift your response to the constant digital demands of the world around you?
A very worthwhile investment of thought and time.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into Sufi wisdom and brain science. We'll see you next time.